think that's it. Hey, everyone, this is Gene. I'm here with Ryan and Joe.
Hello.
And we're going to be talking about the ETC lists. We're not doing all the lists, obviously. Well, maybe not obviously. We're not going to do all the lists. We just picked out a few lists from each race, and we're going to be talking about those. We're going to try to get through about half of them tonight and see what happens.
Yeah, and we pulled out lists that we tried to be either representative for what were the frequently taken lists for that race, or ones that are interesting. If your list isn't here, we're not saying you're a bad player, you're not going to win best in race. We're just trying to talk about some stuff. So
Exactly.
Stuff and things.
I also tried to get a nice mix of countries in there, get the ETC feel.
Oh,
I think we have all but 4 or 5 countries represented in these lists.
Is it that many?
Yeah.
Great job. All right. Well, let's see what we got. We're going to start off with the beast herds. Beast Lord, Pharaoh's Wild Horns. What do we think about this guy?
205. He's a tank. Like, I played with him for a little bit.
That Beast Lord?
Yeah, I mean, when he's combo with the Beast Chieftain, having the 1-up rerollable and then the 205 up, they're just really beefy, tough characters.
Yeah. Soothsayer. See the Dark Forest. Okay, so he's going to hang out in the woods.
The Chieftain's probably going to try and hang in the woods too, because it makes his bounce items better.
2 Gore-Tex, 2 Razor Tusks, 6 Minnows. Not a lot of hitting power in this.
Yeah, it's
outside the characters.
It follows how the Spanish like to play. They're going to have a lot of units on the board. They're going to eat up a lot of terrain, and they're going to kind of, pick you apart rather than smash you with one thing. It's and I said, these lists weren't necessarily going to be the best in race. I think Cal is the one who came up with this list, and then it has been replicated by 2/3 of the countries at ETC. So I think he does get the credit for bringing this one out.
Oh, okay.
He was he was either close to top scorer, or I knew he was definitely top beast last year.
And
he ran pretty much the same list.
It's got a lot of different threats. There are different tools for different jobs. I think it's almost exactly his ETC list from last year, except he added the Minos, I think.
Nope, the Minos were there last year.
They were?
Yeah.
It might be very similar then.
It's basically the same list.
Obviously, the gore attacks being frenzied hurts a little bit. But overall, it's just a solid list. I'm actually surprised with all the beast herds that he did not put not the beast herds, all the demon lists that he didn't put the Eye of Dominance in somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm surprised that it's not in every list. It's dirt cheap, right?
It's 20 points, I think.
Yeah, that counts as dirt cheap. Yeah. All right. What else do we have for the beasts? From Norway. What do we got? A Beast Lord. There you go. There's your Eye of Dominance.
Yeah. Although this one is a little less hitty. He's basically just a 1-up, 4-up.
2-up, 4-up.
2-up, 4-up, yeah. And but he has the eye. And then let's see, you got the Beast Chief with the Great Observer. So the characters are somewhat similar.
Right.
But he has Evo instead.
But they're both in chariots in this one.
Yeah.
They're both in chariots last one.
Were they?
The Soothsayer wasn't.
Oh, the Soothsayer wasn't.
Got it.
Yeah, but he's got both the seats, so his Soothsayer is going to be casting snipes on +2. He's got Dark Rain, so it protects him from shooting, and then he's got triple ambush centaurs and triple beast giants with Vanguard.
And beer barrels. I like that.
Yeah, so he's basically just going to plop the mongrels down and come at you, and then he's just going to try to surround you.
Okay, that's interesting.
And then actually his raiding chariots and all the character chariots.
Character chariots don't get the Vanguard, but the raiding chariots get the Vanguard too with the giants.
So he has 5 Vanguards.
Really?
because of the pillager icon.
Right. Okay. Dread Elves, Tomas from Poland. Oracle on a Dragon. Morax Reaping. Wandering Familiar. Yeah, it's really good. 2 Assassins. I haven't seen Assassins around lately.
And tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure Path of Silent Death is the one that gives him AP 10.
Go into the book.
First call of the book.
Then Bloodroot, I think, is the +1 strength, and then maybe multi-wound versus characters.
Assassin. Bloodroot is +1 strength, +1 AP, multi-wounds 2 against characters. Path of Silent Death. He gains Cult of Cateron, Assassin throwing weapons 1 up, which are made with range 12, 3 shots, strength is user, quick to fire.
So he's going to get 3 shots, strength 5, and if you're a character, he's multi-wounding 2.
Yep.
Okay.
And AP 10, right? Or no?
No, not.
No,
Yeah, no, that's Wolfsbane. The attack has his AP set to 10.
Okay.
That's
So he's just AP 2 or 3.
Yes.
AP is user.
So that means he's base AP 2.
Right.
And the Bloodroot works on his shooting, so he's actually gonna be strength 5 AP 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think he's going to go in those Raven cloaks down there, and he's just going to try to run around and blast you. And if you have any, lone characters running around, he's pretty nasty.
Yeah. I'm surprised he didn't go evocation or I guess he can't take evocation.
Well,
He didn't go alchemy.
the Wandering Familiar basically fixes occultism's biggest issue, which is the range.
Yeah.
So he's mobile, and he can add 6 inches to all the spells.
Mm-hmm.
And he has a way to heal back.
So he's on the dragon, so he wants to heal.
So he has Pentagram, so if he casts it, he can heal wound back. He has the Grave Calls, Mark for Doom. He can drop your weapon skill. It's a nice combo.
All right, and he's got a Medusa.
Yeah, I like the Medusa.
I do too. I'm a big fan.
It's an extra spell, although the spell's not the greatest spell. But it's 135 points. It's nice chaff.
That's so many shots.
125. Would he give it an upgrade? Yeah, halberd. Okay.
That is 2020.
So it's got 5 strength 5 with the halberd.
2020.
That's kind of nice. What are you looking at?
I think it's 92 shots.
80 repeater Hambo, 82 repeater shots. Triple Dread Reaper is 18. And then 6 from the Assassins, that's 104 shots.
Okay.
Yeah, as long as this list stays away from Pyro.
Well, see, even the Corsairs can kind of protect the Pyro because they have a 3 up against it.
Well, the Raven Cloaks are what you need to kill.
Yeah.
I mean, the Corsairs, they have some range. They can do some stuff, but the Raven Cloaks are the thing you need to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
That's an interesting list. All right. Belgium's Dread Prince on a Peg. Midnight Cloak, of course. Captain on a Manicore. Talisman of Shielding.
So this prince is is going to do somewhat similar to what the KOE prince does. He's going to be multi-wound 3,
Right.
and then Transcendence after the charge. Assuming he did some wounds, he's going to be strength 6 for the rest of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but only 4 attacks.
Yeah. So I mean, he's better off the charge than the KOE Lord, assuming he's killed something already.
Right.
But he's way harder to hurt with shooting.
Yeah, because he's got the 3 up.
Yeah, he'll be a 2 up, 3 up, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
Manicore, Alchemist Alloy, Talisman of Shielding, 2 Third Blades of Knob, Rare's Acolytes. So he's counting on his Acolytes for his magic.
Yeah, so he has no spells other than Acolytes, but he'll pick up.
Acolytes are pretty solid, though.
He'll
Like
pick up 6
for
spells
Wizard
there. Yeah.
Conclave, yeah.
The 2 Medusas and the 2 Acolytes, yeah. And then the the Blades of Knob are good, although probably would be better if there was a cauldron nearby. But obviously he's trying to stay mobile. Because I mean, look at this. He has 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 single models plus 2 units that are essentially going to behave the same. Or sorry, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 units that can all move laterally, pivot on the spot, are going to be.
Yeah, it's
I
hard
like
to
this
pin
list a
down.
lot. Basically, they're 3 core units that can't move well laterally, and everything else is going to be. This is going to be a nightmare for people.
That's a cool list. I like this one a lot.
Yeah, I think this is a nasty list.
I do too. Yeah, this is a great list. I'm all about this.
Wait, so I actually wanted to pull out because there aren't that many dark elves, and I would say in the U.S. we haven't seen that many dark elf lists
Right.
at a lot of the tournaments. There are 3 really good lists here, and there are actually a lot of variety of dark elf lists, and I think some good dark elf lists too.
Mm-hmm.
This is a little more what I think has been popping up a lot recently. It's a little more standard, but still a very good list.
Right.
Huge unit of legionnaires, spearmen. 44. Wow. That is a big unit.
And the altar is probably going to get plopped in the middle of that.
Oh, wow.
Make it even nastier. Yeah.
Even nastier and bigger. Yeah.
Yeah, the quadruple raptor chariots is cool. Same with the double hydra. Hydras are so good for their points. They're only 440.
Right.
And then this will obviously have a lot more magic, but you're seeing Wandering Familiar again to get the div range. You got an alchemy caster, and then it's obviously going to be big block of spears, and then a whole bunch of raptor chariots and hydras floating around. And even those 15-man spears can be a serious threat when you combine them with the altar buffs.
Right. And the hereditary. Mm-hmm.
Wow. 4 raptors. Yeah, that's really interesting. It is another nice list.
Yeah. So Ben, you were looking for some Dread Elf lists to play. Pick one of these. They're all good.
Don't pick this one, Ben.
He's gonna pull his hair out trying to play that. Same with the Polish list, just because that's like a high skill ceiling on that list.
What are you saying?
Yeah, he knows what I'm saying.
All right. Dwarven holds.
Yeah, so Dwarven holds another army that I would have thought would be the same list over and over. Has a pretty decent amount of variety in it and some interesting lists. I really like this. Might be one of my favorite lists in the tournament.
Wait a minute. Is this allowed? No, no organ gun?
I think they are allowed to take a list with no organ gun.
Are they? Every time I start Army Builder to look at dwarves, and that shows up in the list. Crafted organ gun.
So it's a runesmith with 3 battle runes and an anvil with 3 battle runes. So he's going to have 6 runes. And then ancestral memory is he gets hatred, and then devouring he can get rid of 1. Obviously, there's no big smashy lord here, but he's using all those points elsewhere. It's relatively flexible for a list. So you got 1 big unit of Greybeards, 2 solid units of Hold Guardians, which they can all Vanguard if he wants, or he can go +1 strength. He's got some smaller units for support. The Greybeards, I guess the Clan Warriors can Vanguard too, so he's got 4 Vanguarding units.
If he wants them, yeah.
Yeah, plus a decent amount of shooting with double attack copters, cannon, catapult.
And 2 breath weapons.
Yeah, so I mean it's a relatively shooty list. He's got the engineer to make the shooting better. Those Holds Guardians are no joke, and then especially when his magic phase is going to be something like +1 to hit, +1 to hit, or I guess it's going to be -1 to wound, plus or -1 to hit, -1 to hit. Like he's just going to stack them over and over, and he has so many that you're not going to be able to stop all of them. So have fun fighting those hold guardians with -1 to wound or -1 to hit on them.
Yeah, I like the Hold Guardians a lot with the ability to choose your upgrade at the time of the game.
And I like this list a lot because he has the ability to Vanguard into your face if that's good, but he also has enough shooting that he can sit back and play a more traditional dwarf game if he wants to, in which case he goes +1 strength on the Hold Guardians. And
I think the best part about this list is how flexible it is for a dwarf list. Like, you look at a lot of dwarf lists and they're either like all in on shooting or all in on the Death Star with the Super Killy Lord.
Right.
And this, I feel like, is extremely flexible. It's very well rounded, and it's going to be a pain in the ass to get points off of.
Yeah, and I like it for the team list because he can put this down, relatively early, and if it's a bad match, he can just sit back, and if it's what he feels is a good match, he can become real aggressive, and you have to worry about him being real aggressive on deployment.
Yep.
So I think it's
a great list, Mikey.
And another one. So what do we got here? The Dragon okay, the double Dragon Seeker list.
Yeah, so this is an Italian list, and I think Pete Reese is going to like this list a lot.
This is Pete Reese's list, close. Another one without. That's 2 Dwarven lists without a rune crafted organ gun.
Yeah. Although, Gene, you'll like it. There was I forget which country, there was a list with 75 Seekers and 2 organ guns.
Oh, was there really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, this is kind of a Pete Reese list, isn't it? It's pretty close.
Yeah, it's a little bit of everything. He does have the big war, the big king with the throne, who's the Smashy Lord, and then the double Monster Seekers. What is Brothers of Vengeance? I forget what that does.
Which one?
That gives them the Skirmish and Vanguard.
Skirmish.
Skirmish.
But he's also another list where there's 4 vanguarding units. So
yes,
same thing. He can come at you if he wants.
Doesn't have as much shooting as Mikey, but
I'm a little surprised the clan
like a little less flexible. But
surprised the clan warriors have paired weapons instead of thrown weapons. I mean, it may just be a point thing.
Right.
Wow. Yeah. He does have a decent number of shots, though. All right.
2 cannons.
Two
the
cannons.
2 cannons are kind of scary.
He's got 2 cannons.
That's all the shooting, though, right?
Yeah, that's it.
That's it?
Great analysis there, Gene.
Yeah, I was reading this wrong. Paired weapons. I thought I was reading paired weapons as throwing weapons. Oh, never mind. I'll be quiet. Let's move on. Sweden's Demon Legions.
Yeah, so the Demon Legions, obviously, it's a newer book, and it's still kind of settling. I think you probably noticed there are a lot of deceivers, a lot of harbingers, still a decent amount of omens, but not very many, and then really not many of the big monsters taken. Obviously, though, partly that's ETC where people don't want risk. But yeah, this list. It seems like 10-man lemurs and then 25-man succubi lists cores are very sexy. So the Sentinel is going to go in the succubi, and they're going to be what? Oh, he didn't give him a guiding.
Which one? The big guy, the Sentinel.
Oh yeah, right. Sorry, this is the Sentinel, not the Kalima.
Right.
So he's actually probably going to go in the lemurs and then just cast.
Yep.
And then the omen. What is
going to go in the succubi with bronze backbone?
Bronze backbone, is that I can never remember bronze backbone. Is that reroll the hit?
I think that's lightning reflexes.
No, it's something to do.
Might be lightning reflexes.
Bronze. No, that's whip crack tail.
Oh boy. We were prepared.
This manifestation, for whatever reason, I cannot keep in my head, and every
Neither can
time
I.
I look it up. And
Yeah,
then,
it's you gain hatred if a
Right.
model loses a round of combat.
Yeah, it's a weird hatred.
Yeah, I don't really love that because you don't want your omen in combats where he's gonna lose.
Right. He doesn't gain hatred unless he loses a round of combat.
Right. No, the model in each rank and file in the unit gains hatred. If the model's unit loses a round of combat, reroll the
Following
hit
round,
the
he gets
following
hatred.
round. So he
Yeah.
still has hatred.
It's
The
kind of a
first round.
gain hatred. Okay, yeah, you're right.
I think they get it for an additional round if they lose the first round.
Well, for every round they lose, they gain it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Succubi aren't going to be sticking around for many times they lose combat.
No. It's not very many of them.
Although there are going to be a lot of, so they're going to be going first and they're going to be rerolling to hit.
I do like the Mage Blight Gremlins. I'm a fan
I
of
also
them.
like the 3x14 Hellhounds.
Yeah, that's the lead
That's
here. You're bearing the
outstanding.
lead here, Gene.
Yes. I like the Mage
Talk
Blight.
about Mage Blight Gremlins.
I like
And
them.
Skip over the
And the Omen can go in those Hellhounds.
Yes, he can.
And Hot Blood gives them agility on the charge, I believe. So this list probably wants to play elves because look at all the ways he can
Yeah, +2 agility.
and then chilling yawn -2 agility. Like there are a lot of agility modifiers here.
The evocation's great there too with the whispers. So -1 toughness on the for the Hellhounds, or -1 leadership. I'm sorry, for the Hellhounds.
We might be using the wrong set of rules. In 2-2, it's Bronze Backbone, I think, is just hatred.
I don't think I've actually re-downloaded the Demon Book yet.
You might talk about being prepared. All right. All right, let's moving on. Your Myrmidons are really good now.
Yeah, so this is the other, the other version of it. So this one kind of eschews chaff and spellcasting. He went real minimal on characters, but he got a lot of stuff in there. So he has, actually, I guess he didn't excuse casting all that much because he has the double champions on the Veil Serpents.
Right.
Yeah, he just
He
moved
still
it
has
from the
6
character
spells. Yeah, so it's still 6 spells, but it's, he's basically got, 4, 5, 6 relatively scary units plus some Mage Blights popping up around.
And I think Veil Serpents are great. Again, another unit that can select its upgrade at the game start.
Yeah, it's a fantastic option if you can get it.
Right. They're easy to protect too, like points wise. Like if you lose a couple, you just fly them away and hold on to 500 points.
Right. Piercing Spike. Yeah, I like this. Empire. Shelter attacks, Binding Soul, Wizard King. This be 221 heavy infantry, 3 of 18 light infantry.
Yeah, he's got he's gone all in on the shooting.
That's 54 shots.
Wow.
Light infantry, not to mention the
plus another 3 units of riders with 15 shots each.
Yeah, exactly.
Double volley gun and a steam tank, and 3 units of 15 flagellants just to keep you at arm's length.
Yeah, and that's why he has the double marshal, so he gets 3 orders. So all the light infantry are going to be ignoring long range. The riders can sit there, and then when they need to, they can be chaff. The volley guns are nasty.
Bubble flaming swords every turn.
Bubble flaming swords every turn, and if he's got that, he's going to do +1 to hit, reroll to hit.
Wow.
He's sold out on shooting, and then those flagellants, the steam tank, and the riders are there to just, when you get close enough, run up and chaff you.
Yep.
That's pretty nasty.
Yeah, I big kudos to Mikal.
Okay.
In the Czech Republic. I like this list.
Oh, he's got the 2 cock and balls thing too.
Although I don't know that I've ever actually seen somebody else use that. So,
I mean, he's got 2 units of 21 heavy infantry with the musician. What do you think he's gonna do with it?
well, that's because they're going to sit there and try to give the fight an extra rank to the light infantry and score.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That is just ugly.
Yeah, so Gene, I'll bring this to the next tournament.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to fight that. I got a lot of armor, but I don't think it can deal with that. All right. Wow.
That's
That's
just gonna
bad.
make elves cry. Like just cry in a corner. And he has double binding scroll.
God,
24-inch div. That's outstanding.
that is a really good list.
Now, here's the problem. If something gets into that, it will eat
Right.
every unit because there's nothing that can fight. So, you know, if like one unit of 20 savage orcs get in there, they will go through the whole army.
Right. Yeah, but you've got to make sure you don't stay out of combat around, or the volley guns will ruin you.
And it's going to have a lot of trouble scoring because it has, the heavy infantry can't move away from the light infantry, and it's got no other scoring units around. If he wants to keep shooting, but if he gets a nice hill in his deployment zone, he's just going to blow stuff away.
Wow.
This looks like a 40k army.
All right. 20 light infantry, 20 light infantry, 45 heavy infantry. Both engines.
So this is one big meaty unit that wants to just come at you. Well, two big
meaty units.
Yeah.
Yes. So the Arcane engines are going to just sit between them, and he's got a decent amount of shooting, but geez, you don't want to mess with either of those units at all.
No, they're pretty ugly.
2 chaff pieces and triple war machine. That's a solid list too. I think I like this one better than the last one just for overall play. Because you can actually kind of bully people with the halberds and the Imperial Guard. And you have enough shooting to force somebody to come across at you to win in combat. So you don't really want to hang back against this list.
Yeah, this is another list, though, that it's going to have a hard time coming forward with both units.
Right.
Because, again, something needs to babysit the light infantry if he wants to keep shooting at maximum. Now, if he just doesn't care about that extra rank, he can come forward just fine. But this is another good list.
Well, he can kind of move forward turns 1, turns 2. And kind of like even deploy his shooting in like the mid-table there.
He just needs to stay within, I think it's 6 inches for the shooting and 8 inches for the orders.
Mm-hmm.
2 rockets. Okay.
And he's going to channel 1, 2, 3, 4 times with this one. And he's going to have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 spells.
Essence on Pyro Alk. And you've got 1 binding scroll. That's a cool list. I like this a lot. You also don't really see Imperial Guard with great weapons anymore.
Well, because you need such a big unit.
Mm-hmm.
But they become even scarier because now you're not relying on strength 4.
Right.
Right. Wow. All right. Highborn elves.
So put Haristo's list in here. I know he's been tinkling it for a while. So he mage with Asphad Scholar and Divination, so he gets the extra range there. Master Cannon Tower with bow. So we got 40 spears here again with the Rima banner. So that if they charge, they're going to be strength 4.
Ooh, 6.
They're going to be move 6 on the charge, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And then another 20 spears, which elf spears are no joke. I don't know that I love the divination, although he probably took it just for the range damage. I always found that divination didn't combo quite as well with elves just because you're already hitting very well, so I never really felt like you needed the weapon skill or the reroll to hit spells. Although with the Master of the Canning Tower, he does have, he's going to get some +1 strength spells from that.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's got 10 Lion Guard that's skirmish. That's probably where the mage goes. 23 sword masters, 2 5s of Rima, 3 5s of Queensguard, and 3 Reapers. So
Really doesn't want to play Pyromancy.
No.
yeah, I mean, but that's elves in general, and he actually doesn't have that many units. The Rima Knights don't care about it. The Queensguard, I guess, will just melt to it. But
Bolt throwers,
Reapers aren't
and then
happy. Even the
you
sword
have
masters will get chipped away.
yeah.
the thing is, there's not all that much pyro. There are a lot of pyro alch combos, but there's not that much pyro compared to the last 2 years.
Mm.
Okay.
So it's a good year to have gone off meta and taken the elves.
Cool.
What the hell? Why is this? Talk about
Hey,
it.
don't say anything, Joe. Let him figure it out.
11 units of 20 spears. What the hell is that?
This is one of my favorite lists of the ETC.
This is almost an all-core unit. It's half core. It's well over half core. 11 units of 20 spears. Wow.
And the first round of ETC is flagged, so he's getting that out of the way.
Oh, so he take his loss in that one and move on? Oh, wow. That is crazy.
I mean, elf spears are no joke.
It's right.
Especially when you have ways to get +1 to wound, +1 strength.
+1 to wound, yeah, but I don't know.
It's gonna run over some people.
I think this is a list that in some matches is going to be just phenomenal, and then in others
against that Empire list, it's like you literally can't shoot all of us.
You can't kill enough.
Here we come.
Although that Empire list will delete 3 spears a turn.
2 spears a turn. Right?
I think it'll be 3.
Even if it kills 3, the other 5 are getting to him on turn 3.
The other 8 are getting there.
Right? No, I'm saying 3 for 2 turns. You get 6. The other 5 just ruin you.
Just run in there with 4 units of Lion Guard too. Here we come.
Left. Right.
I think that High Elf list would beat that Empire list, the full Gunline Empire list.
I want to see those 2 play.
Well, you know what, Ryan? Let's do it. We'll do it on UB. And we'll play Shot Hammer, where every time one of us picks up a unit, we're taking a shot.
I'm not playing the elves.
Let me know how that turns out.
Get some more vodka for Ryan Caps here, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, so the goal will be the elves will pick up a lot more units early on, and then I'll just count on Joe making mistakes from there.
Nice choice.
Okay. Kill the Lion Guard quick.
Yeah, so I have to say Austria is one of my favorite group of lists at all. Although I think this is a Norwegian player, but yeah, go Austria and Halvard, you're amazing.
There's no chaff in this list because it's all chaff. It's fantastic. Okay.
I feel bad that he has to paint 220 spears.
Infernal dwarves. Oh, United Nations team. Okay. Prophet. Another prophet. 12 Citadel Guard, 10 Citadel Guard, 24 Hobgoblins.
So the big tricks here are he has the engineer. Both prophets are engineers, so they can help the rocket battery. So now it's going to be probably hitting on 3s.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be 2 rounds of 2d6 strength 7 shots that are going to hit on 3s.
AP 2?
AP 2.
He's got the icon. He's got a lot of spells. 22 strength 4 shots, 24 strength 3 shots, and then triple units of incarnates to kind of keep you off him. That's a nice list. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, because 4 Kadim are enough that a lot of things will have to respect it, and the few things that can probably blow through them need to be a little worried about the rocket battery. I think the thing he's going to be most worried about is probably big units of infantry, like Savage Orcs and stuff.
Right.
But even then, if he really focuses the rockets, he can take those off.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Well,
That's a cool list. I like that a lot.
Mexico. 20 Citadel Guard, 25 bows.
So this is he has the big lord that does D3 wounds on the bull.
Right.
So this guy is the other end. He doesn't have double caster. He has a very smashy character.
Right.
Still has the icon of the Inferno. Taking a bunch of hobgoblins and then 5 Taruk, an infernal engine with shrapnel guns, and a Kadim. So he's got some big, powerful units bouncing around there.
Yeah, I see that. Cool.
I don't actually like the Overlord with the Onyx core. I think it's a waste of points. Just giving him a great weapon saves you 100.
I mean, I can understand the build on the bull because part of the issue is on foot. I agree with you. He never gets into the fights he wants. On the bull, at least he's mobile enough to be a threat. But
Yeah,
that thing's
but
running
again,
around 5 up, 5 up.
You don't want
and
the
the
D3 wounds.
the alchemy has the attribute is such a short range that you're kind of losing a bit of that threat with the bull being able to go like kind of push things and zone things off of you. Because he's not going to be multi-wound D3 unless you're flammable.
His hereditary spell is 24-inch flammable, right?
Yeah, I'm just saying, like you're with the big flying piece like that, it loses some of its mobility because it's got to stay near the caster.
Yeah.
And that's why when I have played ID, I just like I love the Great Bull. I just love him with a great weapon. I think it's such a solid build.
I do like the, so you're so focused on stopping, okay, can't let him have his haze. Also can't let him get the, all the big pyro spells off. And then he just bubble flaming swords onto 50 bows.
Yeah, that's I love hobgoblins with flaming swords.
All right. Infernal Dwarves. All right. Here we go. Here's our Kingdom of Equitaine list.
Yeah, so this is just the only list that has one because there aren't many KOEs and they're very, very, very similar.
There was only 7, and you could cut and paste that character into all of them.
Yeah, and I figured I'd put Italy's in because this is the guy who built the list last year that has basically become the KOE list. He's running almost exactly the same list this year. He's so he gets the credit for being the only KOE one.
Yeah.
So for anyone who doesn't know, this Lord will charge in. He will
Deletes
be
a unit.
What's that?
Deletes a unit.
Yeah, he'll be hitting and wounding probably on 2s or 3s. If you cause fear, it's 2s.
Right.
He's going to be strength 7. He's going to be rerolling 1s. He'll be multi-wound D3, and then
Plus, no. He's D3 plus 1.
A D3 plus 1,
Right.
and for every time he does a wound, he's going to do another attack.
So he can get up to 10 that deliver up to 4 each.
Yes.
So he can do 40 wounds. Up to 40 wounds.
We had a great story from last year's ETC where Joel Flint had a night bus who was sandwiched by 2 units of Vargeist, 2 units of 8. So he had 8 Vargeist on each side. His lance managed to hold because it was steadfast. The Duke charged in, and in one round, he killed 16 Vargeist.
What?
He deleted 1 unit, and then from res, he deleted the other unit.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, he's really good. It's an interesting list.
I think the problem with KOE right now is there's just not a lot of flexibility with the list builds. So I think probably the Duke Lord needs to get a little less amazing, and the rest of the units need to get a little better. The big issue with the Duke is while he can blow up almost anything in the game on a charge,
almost anything can beat him in a fight if he gets charged.
Oh yeah, if he gets charged, he'll die to 3 ogres. So you can't fail a charge, and you better hope that you're in that Peg Knight unit, because if you charge into a champion without one, then he's going to do 4 wounds to a champion and then.
Well, 6 of them are like this guy with that have questing. The 7th one has the Grail virtue. the questing, at least, if you fail a charge, you can try fleeing if you have to. So you got that going for you. Anyway, but yeah. All right, ogres.
Yep. So I actually worked with Craig a little bit on this list. I think this is a super interesting ogre list, and it's very different from the next list you'll see is typical of probably 90% of the ogre lists. I think it's me, Craig, and John Turner of Scotland are the only three that kind of went off the map there with the ogres.
Went full wild heart.
Yeah, so it's a shaman, heirloom master on Thaun. So he's got 5 spells on Thaun. He has a mammoth hunter who's his general, who has mammoth hide cloak and Liger's tongue.
Right.
There's a mammoth hunter BSB who has the wrestler's belt troll eater that you're going to see everywhere. Then he's got another mammoth hunter who scouts, who has tough 6 and a 4-up armor. And then he's got another mammoth hunter because he's literally at 1,800 points. He's got another mammoth hunter that doesn't even have items.
Just a naked mammoth hunter.
Just literally naked, doesn't even have an iron fist or paired weapons or anything.
But he still has a spear.
Yeah.
He does have a throwing spear.
And then that one, so 3 of them are leader of the pack. And that gets interesting when you look at the next line, which is 2 units of 8 saber tusks. And then he has another 3rd saber tusk sitting there. So he has 3 units that will now vanguard. And those saber tusks for 255 points put out a decent amount of damage, especially when you stick a hunter in there. So he's got, 2 relatively serious combat units that are pretty fast. Then he's got 3 units of 3 tribesmen. Now here's the big weakness of the list, because now as long as he has 3 tribesmen, that shaman's fine to hide in there because they all have standards. But if you kill one, then now the shaman's exposed.
He's got to run hide in another one.
Yeah, so he's probably just going to bounce between tribesmen units.
Okay.
He's got a saber tusk, which is one of the mammoth hunters will attach to and vanguard out. Double scratapults, a rock, and 2 slave giants with great weapon. So yeah, he's got some range threat, big units that are probably the biggest thing this list otherwise doesn't want to find are really big infantry units. He's got an answer to them. And the scratapults are not bad little combat units too for 245.
Yeah.
And he's got Thaun, which makes scratapults even better.
Yeah, so you drop their toughness, and now what is it, a 6x6 template?
Yep.
With lethal strike is now wounding on 4s or 3s.
Or 3s.
3s, tough 3, yeah.
Yeah, so Craig just won one of the big English tournaments 3 or 4 weekends ago with this list. And it's, he's definitely taking the tact of he's going minimal on his characters, on their builds, but he's taking a lot of stuff.
Minimum on their builds, but 5 characters.
Yeah, and a lot of times you're so focused on the 2 giants and the Auroch and the 3 mammoth hunters running around at you that those 3 little tribesmen get ignored, and they just walk over and grab the objectives and, do what they want and just never die.
Yeah, it's an interesting list. If Brandon had more saber tusks, I might take that to the CGL tournament.
All right, so then this is one of the Germans, Thomas Alick, who this is probably what you're seeing on from 80 to 90% of the lists are most of these elements in different combinations. So other than the 3 Wild Heart lists, and I think 1 list that took Crown of Autocracy, every other ogre list there is Leadership 8.
Right.
Which is pretty dang risky.
That's risky.
But he's got a shaman. He has Liger's Tongue. That's going to go into a big unit of tribesmen. A lot of people took bruisers, but I think the tribesmen are fine. And then a Khan with a Horde Master. So he can pick among those weapons, and he's going to be a 2-up armor if he wants to, or he can be a 3-up armor with a great weapon. And then he's got Banner of Discipline, so at least that big unit is never going to panic. Which I think is a good solution to the Leadership 8. I worry a lot of these lists did not take Banners of Discipline and are going to regret it at some point. Then he's got 2 Mammoth Hunters, both with Leader of the Pack. Both are one's a 3-up, 4-up, one's a 2-up, 4-up, which are going to attach those saber tusks and shoot out. He's got 2 Bruiser Darts, a Tribesman Dart, and then they're just going to be fantastic. They can score, they can chaff, they can do some decent damage. And then he's just got nice variety behind it. So he's got double Aurochs, a single Slave Giant with a great weapon, which gets him at almost max monster points. And then a single cannon just plink away the stuff that he otherwise doesn't want to fight. It's a very good list. This is what I took to when I won Gene's Mountain Mayhem.
Is this what you ran?
It was almost exactly this list. I think there was a point change after it, so I think the only big change is he changed up the kit on the con a little bit, and he was able to add Spine Splitter.
Okay.
I think he shuffled the core around too, because the core points changed. And it's a good list. My biggest worry with the list, and the reason I didn't take it, is I was scared shitless of Leadership 8 Rocks,
right,
and Leadership 8 Frenzies. Because I think you're going to fail it. If you're in a BSB bubble, I think you're going to fail 30% of the time. If you're out of BSB bubble, or no, I think it's 20% if you're in BSB and 40% if you're out of BSB. You're going to fail the Rock Frenzy.
Wow.
And that's scary because they can't flee if they go running off. I would say fully half the games I've lost in the last year have been because Rocks do something that is just devastating and
unexpected. Here we go.
What's that?
I said just do something unexpected, and here we go.
Yeah,
it's going bad.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's a good list, and it can fight a lot of things. And it's as long as your leadership checks are good, it's a nasty list.
Yeah. Rerollable 8s though.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that's going to get us through Ogres, which puts us about halfway through. Right?
Yep.
So, you guys want to get back together in a couple nights and
knock it out? Yeah. So in this first group of lists, what do you guys like?
I'm intrigued by that elf list with the 240 spearmen.
I'm also surprised that you didn't put in like the 30 Minotaur list from Beastmen.
Well, I could, but at a certain point, then we're going to be doing this for hours and hours. So I tried to keep it to 2 lists per army, unless there were a lot of interesting lists or a lot of variability, and then I'll throw in a third one. But yeah, there were some. I would say beast herds. There were a lot of similarities to the Spanish list, and then there were a lot of the other alternative was you'd see a Minotaur General, Minotaur BSB, and a lot of that. But there were some interesting lists in there. I think the biggest constant was almost every single one of them had double Gore-Tex.
I think you're seeing a lot of MSU this year.
I think it was always a lot of MSU. But I think you're seeing a lot of monstrous infantry running around. I think that's a lot more than last year. But partly that's because their ogres are popular. A lot of the beast herds are taking minotaurs. UD have a lot of shop D. So that's also why in a lot of the other lists you're seeing a lot of multi-wound stuff popping up. Because the meta right now is monstrous infantry units.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess that's going to wrap it up for tonight, guys.
Yep.
All right. We'll get back and do this. I don't know. In a couple nights, we'll figure it out.
Yep. And comment below if we totally butchered your list and missed something crucial about it.
Right. Team USA is issuing public apologies these days.
And if the guy who's running the Highborn elf list, I'll give you free entry to Mountain Mayhem if you can make it, just so I can watch that play.
Right.
But you do have to cover your flight. Sorry.
But we could put you up.
That's true.
Somebody could host you.
We could host you. All right, guys. That's going to do it. So, good night, and I'll see you guys later.
Bye.
I think. If I can find a way to end this. There's some way to do it. Stop broadcast.